This is a quick video on scale of measurement. That refers to the way we think about different kinds of numbers. You've thought about all of these things before, but maybe not using this kind of language. So let's get started. The first scale of measurement is nominal. That means that these numbers just serve as labels. You could think about things like having different groups, and you label them group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4. They may not come in any specific order, but you need a way to refer to them. And nominal data lets us do that. This is where things like your social security number would fall in. It doesn't have any meaning. Someone who has a higher social security number, that doesn't mean anything than someone who has a lower one. You can't average social security numbers. So those are nominal data, categorical. The second kind of scale of measurement is ordinal. Ordinal data is a label as well, but it also goes in order. And so these are things that have greater than or less than properties. So if I say, how much do you like chocolate? And you say, I like chocolate a little, and someone else says, I like chocolate a whole lot, that would be an ordinal scale, right? You have indicated how much you like chocolate, and one person likes it more than the other. You can think of this also like the rank that someone comes in when they finish a race. Someone who comes in third is ahead of the person who came in fourth and behind the person who came in second. However, just knowing that they came in third doesn't tell us how close they were to either the second place finisher or the fourth place finisher. So ordinal data is labels and it has order. To find out how far apart two numbers are, we would need to look at interval data. Those are data that have labels. They're also in order, but they have equal intervals. That means that every number on the scale has an equal distance between the ones on either side of it. And so this would be the kind of data that you could do mathematical operations with. You could say that 4 of something is double 2. So if you know that someone has interval data and you can compare different scores and know how big is the distance between them. So interval allows us to do new and exciting mathematical operations. In fact, most of the numbers that you've worked with in a math class have been at least interval data. And the final one is ratio. Ratio means data that are labels. They have order, they have equal intervals, but they also have a true zero. And that means that there is none of something when it is 0. So take, for instance, the amount of cookies that you eat. So we have 5 people. They all eat a different amount of cookies. Some eat 2, 3, 4, 5. But we have one person who says, no, thank you, and eats 0 cookies. In that case, that's a true 0. It means that no cookies were consumed. So true 0 meaning none. So there are some that are a little more complicated, and we could take something like temperature. If we look at what 0 means in a temperature scale in either degrees Fahrenheit or degrees Celsius, we see that for degrees Celsius, 0 means when water freezes. We know that in degrees Fahrenheit, water freezes at 32 degrees. And so that sort of tells us that 0 Celsius, even though it corresponds to water freezing, that's still an arbitrary marker. You can go below that. It doesn't mean, having 0 degrees Celsius doesn't mean the absence of temperature. Now you might be thinking about the Kelvin scale. Kelvin really does mean the absence of heat at true 0. It's a theoretical marker. We have not actually observed that in the world. We think that it might exist out there somewhere. But the idea of the Kelvin scale is that 0 has a true absence of all heat. Now that would be a ratio scale. So degrees Fahrenheit, degrees Celsius, that's interval. Degrees Kelvin would be ratio. Okay, so I encourage you to do a lot of practice with nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio scales of measurement. This can be, even though it's stuff that you already knew, it's organized in a new way for you and can be a little tricky. So make sure you do some practice with this and let me know if you have questions.